Okay, welcome to Treasure Chest Part 2. And what we're going to do first is dress up our treasure chest that we've made in Part 1. And we're going to start by making a couple bands with some knobs on it for the top. Now, I'm showing you a long-winded way of doing it. There is an easier way that you can do it using object paint and using a middle edge of your band that you're going to make. But I'm going to show you this way so you can learn about pivots and stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our band. So we go up to the Create panel, and the second one along in your second row we go to is Shapes, and we're going to Arc, and in your left view click on the outside of your box, your lid, drag out a line, keep it reasonably straight, of course, and on the outside of it just let go of your left mouse, push up with your mouse and click with just on the edge of the arc like so. So you can see we've made our vector arc, which is just sitting over here in the perspective view. So we're going to extrude that arc. So if we go to the modify panel of our arc and go to the modifier list, we're going to use the extrude modifier, which basically will give it a 3D extrude. Put in 10 for the amount in the parameters, and we'll put 2 segments in because I want to, basically. And you'll see that there we've now made our band. So let's go up and call our arc band by renaming it, and I'm going to change the colour to a blue colour for myself here. Comes up blue so I can see it a bit better in the chute. So what we're going to do now is make our little knobs that are going to go along the band. So I'm just going to the front view and get the true front view there. And I'm going up to the Create panel again. I'm going to hit the first guy, Geometry. I'm going to click on Sphere. I'm going to go Auto Grid this time. So I'm going to tick Auto Grid at the top. And I'm going to do basically, I'm going to draw out a sphere that's going to sit just there, and I've used the grid in the middle as a kind of direction, so you see I've created it from there and pushed it out. I don't want it too big, probably we could say 2.5, and while we're there let's call it a hemisphere. So I'm going to put 0.5 in there, so now it's a hemisphere as you can see in your other view. I'm going to click off Auto Grid for a second. And now we have a band with one knob there. Okay, so we've made our little knob and we have our band. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the pivot point of our little sphere to match up with the pivot point of the band. So as you know with Max, when you move and shift something, it will make a copy. So if we did that, we could rotate it and make a copy all around the band. So this is how you do this bit of the chute. But there is easier ways of doing this now with the object paint, which I'll show you in another video. So first of all I'm going to select the little knob in my left view, and that's probably the view I'm going to be using the most at the moment. So I'm just going to pull that up like that so you can see it. Okay, so I've selected the actual knob, and I'm going over to the panels, and the third one along, Hierarchy. Now what we can do in here is we can get to the pivot point of the knob. So I get in there and I click on Effect Pivot Only. So now you can see there's another gizmo in there, which is the actual pivot point. So what I'm going to do is line that pivot point up with the band. So I'm going to go up to my align tool, which is just beside the mirror tool, and click on the align tool, and you'll click on the align tool, and you'll notice that when you hover over something, or you'll see that there's a little symbol there, and if you click on, for instance, the band, the pivot point now is sitting over here, which is the middle of the band's pivot point, and a little window comes up and says, do you want to align position with the pivot point? You can change the X, Y and Z positions, but pivot point current object and pivot point target object is exactly what we want to do. So I'll just go OK. Now the pivot point for this band, for this knob, is sitting here. So now I simply will turn off effect pivot point. Don't need that on anymore. Go up to my rotate tool, or E on your keyboard. Click on the outside rotation in your left view. Hold down Shift. In fact, hold down Shift, click on the outside of your view, second procedure, and then you'll get a copy of it. Now sort of look in your view how you would like to space it. I'm going to space it around about the same distance that I've started it on. And now it's a bit of a guesswork, I guess, to work out how many go around here at that space. So I'm going to guess 12, because it says how many copies do you want to do, and it's going to go right around that band, and I'm going to guess 12 and go OK. That's not enough. So I'm going to go back again. I'm going to rotate again, and I'm going to bring it out to about, say, there, and I'm going to be a little bit more generous this time and say 15, and I can delete the extra, as you'll see. So there we go, I've got them all around, the knobs are followed right through. I basically will come in here and select this guy, delete this guy, and now I've got my band with its knobs on. Well, I'll come in here, go from a perspective view and have a look here. Okay, so as you can see, the band has all its knobs right along. So the next bit, we're going to have to group all this together. So we'll group it together, and I guess the best way to do that would be just to go up to select by name, click on the band. I've got ARC2 in there somewhere, I don't know where that is. Click on the band, and if you click on Control, grab all the spheres, and we go OK, and we call it, we go to Group, and we call it band grouped. Why not? So I know exactly what it is then. Okay, so now the band grouped there, we can now, just like we did before, using the Shift and the Move key, the Move tool, we can actually make copies of this guy. So if we come along here, we'll grab this guy, we'll put him over there on the edge, we'll make another one, we'll grab that guy, and we'll see I've used it from the top there, and we'll put him over on the other edge there, something like that, and grab this one and stick him in the middle like that. So there's your bands done. So it's starting to look a little bit more detailed. Next is padlock and stuff. So we'll go on to that.